coaching. I didn't get coaching. I didn't get...
Serena Williams has conquered the tennis world like few others ever could. From her early days in Compton to becoming one of the greatest athletes in history, her story is about defying expectations, breaking barriers, and redefining strength. But even a champion like Serena has faced battles that had nothing to do with tennis. Behind the trophies and roaring crowds are moments of pain, fear, and deep humanity. Moments that brought tears to her husband, Alexis Ohanian's eyes, and tested their family in ways the world never saw coming. This is not just a story about victories on the court, it's about resilience, love, and the courage to face life's toughest challenges. From Compton to the world stage, Serena Williams' journey began far from the luxury of Wimbledon lawns or the bright lights of the U.S. Open. Born on September 26, 1981 in Saginaw, Michigan, and raised in Compton, California, she grew up in an environment better known for its struggles than its tennis programs. Yet, in those cracked public courts, Serena and her sister Venus began writing one of sport's greatest underdog stories. Guided by their father, Richard Williams, and mother, Oracene Price, the girls trained tirelessly, often against the odds. Richard, who had no formal tennis background, studied the game relentlessly, crafting a 78-page plan for his daughter's rise. He believed not just in their talent, but in their potential to change history, and he was right. Serena turned professional at just 14 years old, and by 17 she stunned the world by winning the 1999 U.S. Open, her first Grand Slam title. It wasn't just her power or precision that captivated audiences, it was her presence, her fierce determination, her energy, and her unshakable belief in herself made her unstoppable. Over the years, she would go on to win 23 Grand Slam singles titles, 4 Olympic gold medals, and countless other honors, establishing herself as one of the greatest athletes, not just tennis players, of all time. Breaking barriers and changing culture. Serena didn't just play tennis, she revolutionized it. She brought athleticism, confidence, and unapologetic individuality to a sport that had rarely seen someone like her. From her bold fashion choices to her outspoken advocacy for equality, Serena became a cultural icon. She was a role model for young girls, especially girls of color, proving that they belonged in spaces where they hadn't always been welcomed. She faced criticism, racism, and unfair scrutiny, but she never backed down. Each time she stepped onto the court, she carried not just her racket, but a message. That greatness has no limits when you believe in yourself. A love story built on respect. While Serena was building her legacy on the court, another beautiful chapter of her life began off it. In 2015, during a quiet morning in Rome, fate brought her and Alexis Ohanian together. Alexis, the co-founder of Reddit, wasn't a tennis fan at the time, but after meeting Serena, that changed instantly. Their connection was immediate and genuine, despite coming from very different worlds. One from tech, the other from sports. They shared a deep respect for each other's drive and values. A year later, Alexis proposed to Serena at the same hotel where they first met, and in 2017, they welcomed their daughter, Olympia. Their wedding, held in New Orleans, was a fairy tale, attended by family, friends, and celebrities. But what truly stood out was their love. It wasn't about glamour or fame. It was about two people who admired and supported each other deeply through triumphs and trials alike. The physical toll of greatness. Behind Serena's dominance lay years of quiet suffering. Competing at the top level for more than 2 decades takes a toll that few understand. Her powerful playing style, explosive serves, swift movements, and relentless energy came at a cost. Throughout her career, Serena battled multiple injuries, knee issues, back spasms, shoulder strain, and recurring inflammation. She often played through pain, pushing her limits with extraordinary mental strength. Even when her body screamed for rest, her spirit refused to yield. But over time, the grind of greatness weighed on her physically and emotionally. Serena began to speak openly about the mental strain athletes face, the anxiety, the pressure, and the fatigue that come with constant expectation. Her honesty helped break the silence around mental health in sports, showing that vulnerability is not weakness, but courage. The traumatic birth that changed everything. In 2017, Serena's life took a turn she could never have prepared for. After winning yet another Grand Slam while secretly pregnant, she gave birth to her daughter Olympia through an emergency C-section. The delivery was successful, but what followed nearly cost her life. Just one day after giving birth, Serena began having trouble breathing. She immediately suspected blood clots, knowing her history with pulmonary embolism. But when she alerted medical staff, her concerns weren't taken seriously at first. She had to fight, even in her most vulnerable state, to be heard. When doctors finally performed a scan, they found multiple clots in her lungs. The following weeks were a nightmare of surgeries and complications. Her C-section wound reopened, and she endured further procedures to prevent more clots. For 6 long weeks, she was confined to bed, unable to hold her baby or walk without pain. What should have been the happiest moment of her life became a near-death experience. Yet Serena emerged with new purpose. She used her voice to shine a light on the crisis of maternal health, especially for Black women who face disproportionately higher risks during childbirth. Her advocacy has since helped spark national conversations and inspire policy changes. A scare that brought the family closer years after her birth complications. Serena faced another health scare when doctors discovered a benign branchial cleft cyst near her neck. Though non-cancerous, it brought back all the old fears, the uncertainty, the what-ifs, the reminder of mortality. For someone who had survived so much, even a small health issue carried heavy emotional weight. Serena spoke candidly about the anxiety she felt waiting for the diagnosis and the relief that followed when she learned it wasn't serious. Her openness once again turned a personal challenge into a public lesson about self-care and early detection. Through it all, Alexis stood by her side, just as she had done for him during his own health struggles. Alexis Ohanian's battle with Lyme disease. Not long after Serena's recovery, Alexis faced his own health crisis, a battle with Lyme disease. It began quietly, with fatigue and aches that wouldn't go away. At first, he brushed it off as stress, but when the symptoms worsened, doctors confirmed the diagnosis. Treatment for Lyme disease can be long and draining. Alexis had to slow down, rest, and let his body heal, something that didn't come naturally to a driven entrepreneur. But through the hardest days, Serena was his rock. The roles reversed. The caretaker became the cared for. Together they learned patience, compassion, and the importance of emotional strength. Alexis later opened up about his experience, raising awareness for the illness and showing that even successful people are not immune to struggle. Their honesty about health, his and hers, made them relatable in a world that often sees celebrities as untouchable. They reminded everyone that behind the achievements are real people facing real fears. A new chapter beyond tennis. In 2022, Serena Williams officially said goodbye to professional tennis. It was one of the most emotional moments in sports history, not because she was leaving, but because of everything she had given. Fans around the world cried, cheered, and thanked her for decades of inspiration. But Serena didn't see retirement as an ending. She called it evolution. Away from the court, she has flourished as an entrepreneur, investor, and philanthropist. Her company, Serena Ventures, invests in businesses led by women and people of color, helping to level the playing field in industries still dominated by inequality. She also continues her work in fashion, designing collections that celebrate strength and individuality, just as she always has. And perhaps most importantly, she dedicates more time to being a mom, enjoying life's quieter victories with Alexis and Olympia. The legacy of Serena Williams. Serena Williams' story is more than a sports biography. It's a human epic about love, courage, and perseverance. From Compton's cracked courts to center court glory, from hospital beds to boardrooms, she has shown that greatness is not defined by trophies but by resilience. She taught the world that champions can cry, break down, and start over. That being powerful doesn't mean being invincible. That success means nothing without integrity and empathy. Through every challenge, injuries, motherhood, health scares, and emotional pain, Serena has kept moving forward, not because she's fearless, but because she faces her fears head on. Her family, her faith, and her unshakable will have carried her through every test life has thrown her way. As she steps into the next phase of her life, Serena Williams continues to redefine what it means to be a legend, not just in sports, but in life itself.